Hello and welcome to Soups and Sabers. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Chris talking some Peacemaker. How you take, Chris?
I'm good. I'm good. We got a hell of an episode to talk about. We were just talking on our previous episode about our favorite episode. This one, don't want to ruin anything, but this one might be up there.
Yeah, it's a good episode. We're talking episode 6 of season 2. So if you have not watched that one and you somehow this auto played before we get to any sort of spoilers, make sure you go watch that. It's called Ignorance is Chris. That's maybe some criticism or a shot thrown at Chris here. I don't know, but not his favorite title. But yeah, we'll be talking Ignorance is Chris, which is season 2, episode 6, directed and written by James Gunn, and it premiered September 25th, 2025 on HBO Max. I almost said Disney Plus. That would have been quite the feat to have been on Disney Plus with not just the subject matter, but also the fact that it is DC Comics. But I guess let's just, before we get into it here, I just wanted to kind of say, just as I suspected, last week I was talking about, hey, Tuesday night I'm going to go make sure I get my Superman disc is supposed to come in, and then I'll watch the movie. And of course, I was getting worried. I would say Sunday and Monday, because neither of those days did I get a reference email saying it is shipped. So I was a little nervous. Tuesday morning, I wake up and it says, this has been delayed indefinitely. Like, we don't know when it's going to ship to you. And I was like, great, keep the order for now. So I kept the order. And then you said, you know what I said? I said, you know what? On my lunch break, I'm going to drive over to Walmart because my app said my Walmart had it in stock. And I'm going to go pick it up. Make sure it's still there. And then what I did was I held on to the order until I had it in my hand. Then I canceled the order and then bought the disc. So just to make sure I was guaranteed to get one. But I figured it was going to get delayed when I got no shipping email. And I kind of hinted towards it last week, like, hey, if this doesn't come in, I guess I'll watch on Max. But I, put the baby to bed late that night. He stayed up till like almost 10. And then I had to clean up, do some chores around the house, like dishes, clean up his toys, vacuum, all that good stuff. Sit down at 10:30. Start watching this movie. Looks great on a 4K disc, by the way. 4K, like, it looks incredible. And then, I get to the kaiju fight and fall asleep.
It happens. It's called adulthood.
I'm usually not like tired that early, but maybe because I was like, I think it was a day. No, I was home. I was gonna say maybe it was the day I was in the office, but no, I was home, and then, the I guess the fact of just all the chores and stuff, and I'm settling down. I had all the lights off so I could watch it on this great TV, and I fell asleep. Woke up, fell asleep during the kaiju fight. Woke up at the apartment scene where Lois is saying goodbye to him, and he's going to get Crypto. Fell asleep again sometime after that, and then woke up and got to watch the Mr. Terrific fight scene, and then I was like, I'll stop here for the night, and hadn't had a chance to finish the next hour of the movie. But this morning, I put it on while I was playing with my son, and then he took a nap, and I finished watching the movie, and so I've now seen it for sure 2.5 times.
Nice.
Yeah, so
that's adulthood in a nutshell. Yeah. We've been. I fall asleep in front of the TV a lot. I can't judge you on that one. I do that all the time.
I usually don't do it that early. It was like 11 o'clock. But anyway, I guess that's a sign that I'm in my 30s and a father, and I don't know, adult. Yeah.
The clock starts making fun of you, my friend. It starts making fun of you.
Well, yeah, so that was my experience. But this morning I got to watch it, and I watched the making of special behind the scene featurette, which is fantastic as well. Really hope we get those for a lot of the DCU projects because it's just so. I love making of documentaries. I always go back and talk about like one that really made a mark on me is the episode 1 Phantom Menace DVD special feature, which is a really great special feature behind the scenes documentary. And they did those for all of the prequels, and they were great. But, you know, as we get more and more down the line of physical media kind of disappearing, a lot of the special features have also started to disappear, which is unfortunate. But my plan is to watch the commentary sometime in the next couple weeks and, you know, hear what old James Gunn has to say during that. So,
yeah, after seeing the movie 5 times, I'm more interested in the commentary than seeing it again.
yeah,
Because I know I'm going to watch it again at some point. Like, it's like I'm never going to go that far without watching it. So, like, if I can hear what James Gunn has to say about like the making of the movie, that's infinitely more exciting for me at this point. So that
yeah, I
is one
love
incentive to
commentaries
go get
too.
the physical. Yeah, because they show you things you wouldn't have ever thought of, and you get a deeper appreciation for like what went into the movie. So I'm 100% there with you. That snippet I saw on social media was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's get into Ignorances, Chris, which is, like I said, episode 6 of season 2, meaning we only have 2 episodes left of the season already. This was, you know, the first of the batch of episodes that James Gunn had not let a lot of people see, did not let the press see them ahead of time. And I think we know why. Now, of course, a lot of people have figured out this twist before the reveal, but I still think it works as a reveal. Let me just get into it now because I don't want to forget about saying this, but I was texting you guys this too. When we were done watching this, you know, I had said last week and probably over the few weeks that I think even our first episode with with Richard Evans, where we talked about like, oh, some people theorize this is like Nazi Earth, and I was like, I don't know if I want that, right? Like, because I want him to have like a tough choice here, but maybe it's because the theories, maybe it's that, but I think it when it actually seeing it play out, and there's a certain line in this episode where Harcourt says, "This is your ideal world," that I think really makes it work for me because now we kind of can. I don't know how much we'll explore this, Chris, but there is the option now to explore like how he was blind to the signs because he was just so like tunnel vision, one with his white privilege, but also just the fact that he had everything he wanted. He didn't even stop to look at an American flag as he's driving by. He didn't stop to look at notice the people at all because he's so wrapped up in I have Harcourt, I have my brother, I have this, and everybody loves me. It's not just that he has everything he wants; everybody loves him too. So he is, you know. I think some people are, you know, some people have been like, well, you mean that that's the first time you've seen the flag? And it's like, yeah, because we have American flags flying everywhere. One, we don't know if they're as patriotic, I guess. Right? We don't know if they fly the flag as much. But even if they do, I mean, you see it all the time anyway. You just see the red and white with the blue, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's an American flag. He's driving through. He's not going to study it. He's not expecting it to be different. He's just flying, you know, he's just driving through stuff.
He couldn't be bothered.
Right.
He couldn't be bothered by it because he has everything he wants. It's exactly the point of the matter that I think is important is that everyone else noticed it right away. But because he had privilege and he was happy, he didn't even, it was not on his radar. He was shocked when everyone was found it so obvious outside of him. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the that's what's working for me, because Chris can still explore it a bit of, oh my god, I was so happy just because of that. I didn't even realize,
Mm-hmm.
like, what does that say about me? What does it say about that I was happy here? Obviously, he's not going to want to stay there, I would think, going forward, especially Adebayo is his best friend, right? That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be something that plays into it as well. Um, so for me, that all is working. I'm sure if there's like listeners that listen every week, they may have watched that episode and been like, oh, I wonder what he's going to say about that, since that's not what he wanted. But it's like that one line from Harcourt makes me feel like, okay, it's better than what I like. I think what I thought when it's just like, oh, if he finds out it's Nazi world, it's like, all right, yeah, this place sucks, let's leave. Not realizing that, like, there might be some retrospection on why he was happy here, and how he didn't notice the signs. Um, so that's where I land on it. But that's the big reveal
Yeah.
of the episode here, right? The
Mm-hmm.
11th Street kids go into Adrian's house. They go to his special basement where he has cocaine and tons of money. I really like this part too, Chris, where when he's saying that he doesn't use the money because it's blood money, and they just all start taking it.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who wouldn't have the same reaction.
Right, right.
I'm like, can I find his basement right now, please?
Yeah, millions of dollars they said down there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because he's technically like a drug lord without the drug operation.
Right, right.
He's got all the product. He's got all their money. But yeah, it shows that as insane as he is, he's pretty principled about his insanity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, he is back in season 1, I think he's talked about killing people for doing illegal drugs, or
Graffiti.
graffiti and stuff. So, like, he is principled in that regard, but he draws a line somewhere, but it's different on each issue. Like the tape, right?
Right.
Like, whoa, we're gonna tape them up? That isn't that gonna hurt their their skin and
Yeah.
stuff? That's like, okay.
So he's basically like a measuring device that's erratic. Like it's like you don't know where the line is going to come, but there's going to be a line. It's interesting because he seems like it makes such sense to him, but it could not possibly make sense to any person that is not.
Right. Like in that vet scene where he says
Yep.
in season 1, like, about the tape, and Economos is like, killing them is fine, but like putting tape on them is not. He's like, yeah. Like, for him it makes sense, right? Like,
right.
That's all that matters.
It's not okay to irritate their skin, but it's okay to shoot them in the head. That's
right. But maybe because they're not feeling any pain.
Yeah.
It's taking them out of the right, putting them out of their misery, I guess. So they follow him in there. They find the other wall, other door, where Adrian is able to give the code. He knows the code. And they follow him in. Here's what. So in the trailer for last week, when it shows previews for this episode, it showed the dog barking at Harcourt, and I was thinking, oh, maybe the dog realizes it's not her. But it's actually because of the cocaine, which I thought was a nice touch here. Because of, you're like, oh, why do they have to have cocaine on them? It's to get this dog to notice something's up, so that way Harcourt gets taken aside here, which of course then makes people question the real not the real Harcourt too, when she comes in to her job at the end of the episode. So what started off as a gag of like the cocaine covering them, actually has real, real, like, downward effects, whatever word I'm looking for there. But yes,
real consequences.
Yes, thank you. It's like trickle down cocaine. there.
Trickle down cocaine. And that's actually what it did, because the Peacemaker podcast, James Gunn was talking about how they had to keep applying the
less
white
and less.
powder less
Yeah.
and less through, and they were like trying to figure out how it was supposed to look. And I was just like, that has to be the most torturous detail. And I was thinking about it because I don't think I would have noticed.
Well, I noticed. Actually, I thought they did a mostly good job, but it was kind of like at one point in the QUC, their clothes just look so much cleaner.
Yeah.
It would have been hard to get that clean with the rag. Like Adebayo was just using a rag. It would have been hard to get that clean.
And
with
then
a rag.
Adrian's just like brushing off John Economos, and he turns around. He's like, "What are you doing?"
But yeah, no, that was a good time. But during this, right, Chris is the episode opened with him having breakfast with his family and Harcourt too. After he had just, I think it showed them having sex first, like laying in bed and then cutting to this, or maybe it was this and then that. But
it was that order in a weird presentation. But yeah.
And then little blonde hair kid going up and asking for a picture, and
Notice how they're all blonde.
Yeah, and then it distorts, right? And then James Gunn said on his podcast that was like a sign that not everything is right here at that point. So but yeah, so I mean he has everything he wants at this point, right? He has Harcourt, he's got his brother, he's got his dad. He and Harcourt are together in this universe right now. They have relations, right? And everything is looking up, but the 11th Street kids are coming back and trying to convince them to come back. And we have this great scene in the interrogation room when Chris shows up, and just this conversation between the two of them where James and Jennifer Holland have say this so well in their podcast, but pretty much what I read from the scene is exactly what they said too, is Chris is wanting her to say, not just come home, but come home because I need you, because I love you, type of thing. And she's not really ready to go that far still, right? Even after all this. And for Amelia, she's thinking, just me saying come home should be enough to tell you why I want you to come home. Don't make me say it, and it's like two people that want different things and different communication styles, trying to have a relationship. So who knows how that is actually going to work out for them, because a lot of times communication styles is a very important part of a relationship. But yeah, what was your thought of the interrogation room scene with the two of them?
It made me think of the Cheap Trick song, "I Want You to Want Me," and "Didn't I See You Crying?" And it's like I was like, as much as music plays a role in James Gunn, I was like, that would have been the perfect song for that. But I thought it was like really like touching how much Peacemaker conveyed care for Harcourt, and how she seems to be what sets his compass. And I think that genuinely surprises Harcourt. Like, because Harcourt's like, I'm a mess. And he's like, I don't care. And I just really liked that scene because I think both of them were emotional and raw. And I feel like that could have been a scene where it could have been different. Like, you could have had it where Chris had been preparing what to say, or Harcourt had been preparing what to say, and it almost was this horrible regurgitation of their pre-scripted thoughts, but it was just raw in the moment, and it really touched down to the core of both characters.
Yeah, it's another great example of how far John Cena has come as an actor as well. I think he's very believable here. It is sometimes you get actors like I would say even John Cena's maybe early works. Like he shows up in Psych, right?
Yeah.
As Juliet's brother, and he's not as, I would say, good of an actor back then as he is now. And the delivery from him in this scene is just like I said, it's very believable. While I feel like sometimes you can have these type of scenes with a lesser actor and it comes all across as wooden.
Yeah.
Because, but like he actually made me believe he feels this stuff. So that's
And
just
this could have
kudos
been
to
a
John
streaming
Cena.
match. This could have been a
Yeah,
streaming
yeah.
match, and it wasn't. It could have been a like I feel like it was so important to get the emotion across in this scene, and to do it any differently would have ruined the scene. So I kind of like wondering how long it took them to do it, because that was I think James Gunn said on his podcast, both of their best acting. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was, and John Cena, by the way, he's always had the charisma and like this like energy, this likable energy to him. But to make me really feel for the guy, that's impressive acting. I was very impressed with the scene, and I think it's the heart of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, John doesn't get a lot to do in this episode,
Mm-hmm.
but what this scene here, what he gets
Yeah, well,
is very good.
it's definitely important. I mean, the 11th Street Kids were the focus of the episode, and I thought the scene where Harcourt with a snow globe was probably my favorite scene of the episode. But especially the post credit take, that was hilarious. But yeah, definitely the meat of the episode, I'd say.
Yeah. So during this as well, we have back in our universe or the DCU, right? Rick
Mm-hmm.
Flag Sr. Here's from Langston Fleury here. Not only did we lose Peacemaker, all right, we've now lost John and Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't locate Judo Master. Which, gets Rick Flag in a, like, you gotta be kidding me.
He has no tools to get what he wants done. He doesn't even know how to go about what he wants to do.
Right. So his way of thinking is if I can't find them and I can't find the rift anymore,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I can find somebody familiar with this technology to help me put an end to this once and for all. Real quick, before we get to that big cameo, there was the great bit where he tells Langston Fleury, like, just let me think. And then Langston Fleury sits down with him and is just like, And he's like, alone?
This is one of the things that I cite, like I will cite when people say James Gunn's comedy takes away from things, because it was so natural and like unforced that it was just absolutely hilarious. Like it didn't pause anything. It was just in the moment,
Right.
hysterical, and I feel like it serves a purpose. It like gives you a minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it also just shows what he is working with at this point as well, right? Like he's lost a lot of the competent people, I would say, at this point. So he's left with Langston Fleury and
Langston Fleury is kind of an antagonistic character to Rick Flag. He's on his team, but it's not like they're buddies.
Right. I mean, we just saw last week when Economos booked Peacemaker, he said, that was good. So it makes me think maybe he knows he's getting under Rick Flag's skin here.
Maybe Langston just wants to be under everybody's skin in the first place.
They said in the podcast there was like a deleted scene where when they were riffing on this stuff, he was like going in to ask for a raise right after this stuff too, which is
that would have been so. And then my counter to that would be, all right, show me what a duck is versus an eagle, and we'll talk.
Right. Damn it, my one weakness in the way again. Okay, so Rick Flag Sr. goes to Belle Reve. He says, calls it Louisiana and says, "Get me your finest prisoner. I'm going to Belle Reve. I have to talk to somebody here." And we pretty much had this idea in our heads that it was going to be Lex. I don't remember what I said on episode 1, but in the group chat after I watched episode 1, I did say I think it's going to be Lex.
Yeah.
I think I walked it back a little bit after that because then I heard about like how Otis and Sydney Happerstein or whatever are going to be in this. So then I was like, oh, maybe they'll just get those two. Maybe Lex is too big of a get. But Lex made sense. It's his technology. We now also know the through line, right? We see in Superman. He's a big role in that. The same technology is in here, so he comes up again here. And we now know James Gunn has said Man of Tomorrow is going to take from Peacemaker season 2. And that's why my theory that the main character of the DCU is Lex Luthor seems to be panning out right now. So I'm excited about that. But look, a lot of people are like, Nicholas Hoult gonna show up in this show? I don't know. And the music starts playing. You see a bald prisoner with a cane. Last time we saw, he got destroyed by Crypto. And there's Lex Luthor.
Dude, this is such an awesome scene because like they filmed it like while they were filming Superman. And like
during the Pentagon scenes. Yeah.
And I just feel like Nicholas Hoult just was, and they talked about this a little bit on James Gunn's podcast, but I feel like he just let loose and like just this is a dejected, pissed off Lex Luthor, and it's perfect.
Yeah. I know there are some people that don't feel that way about Nicholas Hoult Lex, but I think I'm at the point where he is my favorite Lex. And I know that sounds blasphemous, especially that I'm a big Michael Rosenbaum Lex fan. But here's the thing. Michael Rosenbaum is a great Lex, but he rarely got to go and be villainous Lex. He got to do a little bit of that, but there was always that hint of redemption with him, and there was always like almost because it's a TV show with 20 episodes a season, a little bit of a factory reset every so often. And then he left the show. And then he comes back and he is villainous Lex, and then they wipe his mind. This feels like the natural evolution of Michael Rosenbaum's Lex, but actually being able to be comic book Lex at the same time. He gets to like this is the type like that stuff in the alternate dimension where like the pocket universe where he's got everybody caged. It reminds me so much of Smallville Lex when he had level 33 0.1 or whatever, and he would have people locked away, and he would it is very much in the same vein, but we actually get to see him face off against Superman. And now that we're going to have him in a movie where he is the lead with Superman is making me incredibly excited. The fact that he was able to pop up in here, this is again a bonus of them being able to film at the same time. I know Holt is probably expensive as well, but this may have been worked in the contract for the movie. This may also just be he's supposedly he's a fan of the show as well. So I mean, it could be anything.
I don't think Holt was going to object to doing this.
Right.
I feel like when you're a principal character in the DCU, you're kind of on board. Like I don't think it was going to be this hard negotiation. Other shows would have given you the fan service of, oh, we're going to have someone from the movie, and it would have been Otis. That other shows would have done that, and that would have just been it. I mean, how Arrowverse just hit dead cord on Endless Loop, never got anything. But I like the idea of what you said that he's your favorite because I'm at the point where Michael Rosenbaum's probably still my favorite, but I have no doubt that by the end of this, Nicholas Holt will have completely taken the cake. Like if we're getting this every time we get him, there's no way Rosenbaum's version can hold up. It's just there's no way because we'll be getting everything we wanted from that version in this version, like you said. I think that's an awesome take.
Yeah. I mean, look, there wasn't a lot of competition for favorite Lex, really.
Some people like Gene Hackman a lot. I never got it.
I say
So,
there's certain charm to him as Lex at times, but it's not the typical Lex. It's not like I don't know. Like I like watching Superman 2 where he also appears. I like watching Superman the movie, but it is not as villainous or as
right.
threatening. It's
He's
about
actually better in
land deals.
Superman too,
Yeah, because he's like
in my
teaming up with
opinion.
Zod, and it's
Yeah,
yeah.
and he's got better lines, I think. But
Yes.
what I would say about Holt's Lex Luthor is that he seems very in the moment. Like this Lex Luthor wasn't just thinking, okay, I'm going to take over the world or I'm going to be the best. It wasn't consumed in the moment. He was in the moment of, okay, this is what you're presenting to me. Cut to the chase because you're wasting both of our time. What's the
Yes.
final author? And I was like, he didn't. I feel like other Lex Luthors would have spent time whining about that why they were in prison,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Sentenced to
just like,
265 years, by the
I
way.
still can't figure that one out. I still can't figure that one out. How many what?
I mean, he did almost rip the world in half if it wasn't stopped by Superman. So I mean,
I just don't know what law has a quantifiable sentence that is equivalent to what he did.
well, no, I mean, I don't know, but there's also the fact that there was people in that pocket dimension. Uh,
Yeah,
while some of
and
them
he
were approved by other governments, but you also
mhm.
have petty ex-girlfriends, he said, that are
and
locked in there,
he did
and he
commit a
killed
murder.
Molly.
Yeah,
Yes,
all right.
yeah.
I mean, lifetime sentence
Plus
makes sense to me,
inciting,
but
yeah, citing a war with Gurkos and
mhm.
uh the Hammer of Baravia, any sort of damages he caused, the damages of the Rift. It seems pretty steep when you first read it, but I think if you start working it out, you're like, okay,
That's fair.
not yeah,
So
but
it's additional charges added on. It's not one charge. That makes sense.
yes, yeah, that's what I think.
Hmm.
And then you also have, you know, here he's going to make a deal with Flag. They're going to get him a chance of redemption and a spot in a different prison that has no metahumans, but not necessarily getting out of prison or lessening his sentence.
Hmm.
So let's take a bit right now and just, Chris, pitch me, how does he get out of prison for Man of Tomorrow, or does the events of that movie start with him in prison, and because they need him, they let him go then?
I feel like this sets up a precedent of him
Helping.
working with the government. And then you know how in All Star Superman they were like surprised that they're like, you weren't allowed, you weren't authorized to do anything to kill Superman. And he's like, did you think it was gonna stop me? Like,
Right.
um, I feel like that's the direction we're going.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's interesting. Like, I could see it being like, let's say it is Brainiac. Let's just pitch,
Hmm.
right? If I'm pitching it here, Brainiac, maybe for some reason, because Lex's whole thing in the first movie is brain over brawn, right? Um, he is the smartest man on Earth, as James Gunn has said. Uh, Brainiac comes, who is maybe smarter, and what you need is brain and brawn teaming up here. So you get, he's now in a better, cushier prison, and Superman comes to him, or Rick Flag, who I'm assuming is going to be in Man of Tomorrow, comes to him and says, "You know what?
Hmm.
We're facing a threat here that is bigger than anything, and we need you to figure out this pattern or how to stop this guy because he is smarter than all of our top scientists and people, and we'll let you out to do so. Maybe not like he's fully out, but almost like a Task Force X where they go out on the mission and then he's supposed to come back, but maybe because they do such a good job, they say all is forgiven.
My theory is that Mr. Terrific strikes out and says, Clark, you're going to have to get Lex. That's my theory. I feel like Superman's going to go to anybody else because it's not like he's the only smart person. Like, I feel like he'll go to anybody else. And Mr. Terrific closed the rift. He's Mr. Goddamn Terrific. But I feel like they'll go to anybody else and Lex will be, it'll be like, look, we're facing Annihilation, Armageddon, whatever you want to call it. There's a threat that I can't punch my way out of. I need your help. And I need to be able to trust you somewhat. And I think there will be parameters that will shackle Lex's ability to get at Superman. And I feel like half the movie, it'll be like almost like that scene in Avengers where Loki is just trying to get under Hulk's skin to get him to like Hulk out. I feel like he's going to try to go to get Superman into a fight to be able to truly break free and have his ability to do whatever the hell he wants. That's my theory as of now. But I do think Mr. Terrific would be your first call. Like, I don't think Lex is your first call.
You know, we know Mr. Terrific will be truthful too if he needs Lex because of like, you know, the scene with the transmission where he says, "Hey, you know, I know these guys. They're not going to lie about that." So he might openly be like, "Hey, just like how he was able to do a pocket universe and I can't. You're going to need Lex."
The difference between Mr. Terrific and Lex Luthor is Mr. Terrific knows what he does not know and will admit that. And Lex Luthor thinks he can figure everything out. And that's the big difference between the two characters because intellectually, they're probably on a pretty equal footing.
Yeah. No, that I like that idea. So who knows, right? Who knows? But you know, after rewatching Superman today and watching this episode the other day, I'm so excited for Man of Tomorrow.
Yep. I can't wait.
More than Supergirl, more than Clayface. Like I just want more of these characters, Superman and Lex, than that dynamic.
I think what I want most out of Man of Tomorrow is to get the full Superman Lex Luthor movie because I feel like we had parts of it where they were going at each other. But
only a few scenes shared with
exactly.
Each other.
I feel like most of the movie was they were antagonists working against each other's goals.
With Ultraman and the Engineer, it was like a proxy fight between them.
I want a movie in which Lex Luthor spends the entire 2 hours, 20 minutes, whatever it is, getting under Clark's skin. I want him to have this. I liken what they're doing with Lex Luthor to what I would do with Reverse Flash and be this mad genius that you can't trust, that you just can't get rid of. The story will always make him relevant. That's what they're doing with Lex Luthor. And I think this Lex Luthor has a chance, if he truly is the main character of the DCU, the connecting character, has a chance to be the most definitive villain we've ever seen outside of maybe Thanos.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to keep putting him in these movies and stuff, I would almost liken him more to Loki in that regard of how often he pops up and stuff would be that. But
the difference is I don't think Loki is the great connector between all of the movies. He connects to a lot of things, but it's almost like they worked that in, reverse engineered it. This is, we're going in at directly saying Lex is the central point. We don't have a Nick Fury in this universe. We have a villain that connects to Rick Flag. We have a villain that connects to Superman. We have a villain that, with Belle Reeve, could probably connect to Creature Commandos if you wanted him to.
Yeah. Well, here we go. We got. Let's talk about Vigilante. He meets his alternate self here. And I think it makes us at first want to believe that Vigilante is more hardcore, different. Like his reaction to Sam, right? Is like, well, who are you? And then when he realizes it's himself, they have the Spider-Man meme and they're bonding over.
So funny. So funny. The second they said Spider-Man meme, I was laughing so hard that it almost took away from my enjoyment. I was laughing so hard that I had to remember to focus on what they were saying. It was so funny.
A lot of great stuff. They share their love of Infernape, the Pokemon, which is an awesome Pokemon, by the way. So I do agree with Adrian there. But they have this great bonding session with that. And you just know where this is kind of leading, I think, when you're, one of them is going to mention Peacemaker and one of them is going to react a certain way. And that's exactly what happens. Are you best friends with Peacemaker? No. Alternate Adrian is not, because Adrian is on the side of the Sons of Liberty, the terrorists from episode 3 that Peacemaker killed and weren't really, I guess you would say they're still technically terrorists, but they're the good guys here. They were trying to enact change to this United States of Nazis.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. The United States of whatever it's called.
It could still be called the United States of America, but maybe instead of the stars, they just really love the swastika. I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that the dance in the song is swastika imagery, and it's one of those things though that you notice the second someone says it, but until someone says it, I would never have noticed.
Yeah, look, if it wasn't intentional, it is funny, but I do think it is intentional here that is a hint. I mean, like people have pointed out in the season 1, you kind of get butterfly flaps by some of the characters as well, where how they're almost being puppeted by marionettes, like the butterflies do. So I mean, like there's hints into that in that theme song too. So I mean, that's I think that's a good call. My biggest question on this is, when did they become Nazis? Right? Like obviously, is it like World War II? We lost, or is it sometime after that Nazis sprung up and took over the country? That's the kind of thing I'll be interested in.
Or was it reverse of World War II, whereas you had the Allied powers and the axis of evil? What if you had the like Italy, Japan, and like Germany and Russia, like they were the like non-Nazi, non-fascist side, and then you had like America and England and France and all these countries being the Nazi side. So it's interesting.
Yeah, no, that would be. I think we'll get more about that, of course, but Adebayo and John are cleaning up Eagly's mess, and we get her wanting to take a walk, and that's kind of when this, playing at the same time as the Vigilante stuff and playing at the same time as the swastika reveal. And Adebayo is going to take a walk in the neighborhood, and people are kind of staring at her. It's building to something, but we get Keith, who jumps out and says, one got out. So I'm assuming there's some sort of prison or concentration camp that they have them kind of working in. And they start chasing her. And that's where she's kind of left. Augie comes home and sees Economos and stabs his hand. And we also have, of course, Chris and Amelia getting arrested by Argus. So we're kind of a lot up in the air here. I would assume Vigilante is going to bring other Vigilante, and they're going to go and hopefully try to put a stop to like maybe try to just go meet up with Chris and them at the mansion, and then we'll be there in time to maybe. I'm assuming Adebayo is going to run back to the house. So then you'll have she'd have to deal with Augie. She'd have to deal with Keith, who's also chasing her. Or maybe she has to run away somewhere else. And then I don't know. We see a scene in the trailer of Augie and Keith talking. So I don't know what happens to John. Like, are we going to lose Economos?
I mean, we might. Augie doesn't play around. He stabs him in the hand, and then to anger him even more, he tells him everything.
Yes.
And then Economos is like, and I'm telling you way too much. Like, it's like, God, when it comes to backbone, Economos is that's his weakness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that he knew that, though. He's like, oh my God, I'm saying too much.
Yeah. I also was trying to figure out how Adebayo gets out of that, because I don't think she's fast enough to get past everybody. And
I don't like. I don't think
kill Adebayo.
They're not going to kill Adebayo. I don't think it's a good look either to kill Adebayo in a Naziville type of thing.
Yeah, it would be hard for me to stomach. That's for sure.
Plus, I think there's some scenes of them still needing to get back,
but
to get back to the QUC as well in the trailer. So I do think she'll make it back.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but
she's in trouble one way or the other. Right? She's in trouble.
She is in some trouble. Now, I know people have been speculating. Yeah, I've seen a lot of speculation. James Gunn says G.I. Robot is coming to live action. Not necessarily in this season, he said. A lot of people think he's lying. I don't know. I think Sergeant Rock is where G.I. Robot makes the most sense. So
yeah,
that's where I'm thinking. And he would be cheaper because he would not be the big hulking G.I. Robot from the end of Creature Commandos. I
mean, it's going to be CGI anyway, probably.
Yeah, but like the Superman robots, they'd be able to build like a GI robot like that too.
Yeah, but the Superman robots didn't have guns that came out of their arms and shooting.
Well, that would be enhanced by CG. Yeah. But like the GI robot with his hands walking around, they can do some of that with the Superman robots.
They would probably do what they did with King Shark, which they'd have like Economos or somebody like stand around as like a physical model, and then they'd have the voice acting and the CGI over it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not expecting many more big cameos. I know like some people are. I think
I don't
Lex
think you're getting Superman.
No,
I think Lex was the big thing.
Lex was the big one. We're still going to get Otis and Sidney Happerson, so obviously they'll be in there. I don't expect that. I see people writing some of these theories, and it just comes across as obviously a real writer didn't write this. I don't want to sound mean, but like where they're like, oh, they're just gonna Rick Flag's just gonna send GI Robot in there and wreck them, and I'm like, I don't know if that really makes it. Nobody knows who's watching this show. They haven't watched Creature Commandos. They have no idea who GI Robot is.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem to fit, like. And I don't think anybody's going to go in there. Like somebody speculates Superman's just going to go in there and wreck people. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. Look, when you see how, I don't think there's many superheroes in this world because everybody loves the top trio.
Yep.
And when you see the Sons of Liberty in episode 3 and how they do not have their stuff together. Exactly, Chris. They stink.
Yeah.
and one of them trips and blows themselves up, I don't think they're working with the best resources here.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
they
so
have
at
a
all.
Bruce Wayne giving them money. I don't think they have
I
a superpowered friend that can help
I
them
think
out.
they're disenfranchised people who are on the fringe of society that happen to have a moral center, unlike society. But I don't think you're getting your best, biggest, and strongest in the Sons of Liberty. I think you're getting your outskirts, your outliers, and we'll see. I don't think we're going to get anything big coming into this world because I don't think if Rick Flag finds this world, I think it'd be more likely that he would go into it than for like I feel like it would almost hurt him more that his son on this world was a Nazi.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody said,
Like
"What if he brings back Rick Flag Jr. into this world?" I'm like, I don't think
he
he would
wouldn't
want
it wouldn't
to.
be his son.
It's not
It-
even his
it-
son anyway, in the sense of like he's
yeah,
so weak and meek and like doesn't have a backbone in this universe. He's a
yeah.
pencil pusher.
Well, it's funny because Argus seems to be a very soft organization. Harcourt never wears black and isn't tough at all. Um, we just talked about Rick Flag being a bumbling idiot. Rick Flag Jr. Um, everything we've seen from Argus is, and the guy at the desk is like, hi there, Peacemaker. I'm such a big fan. Like,
Right, right.
it's just, it seems like Argus is a very untough situation on that side. I think maybe it's saying that, like, you know, when you have so little need for security because you've kind of eliminated all the other threats, um, you probably don't take it that seriously, or you know, you're lazy because you are such the norm. There's
Hmm.
probably a better message in there somewhere that's coming to my mind at the moment.
Yeah. No, I agree with all of that. So look, I just think that we're gonna get them escaping. I would
Hmm.
assume if anything, they turn over the QUC to Argus. Uh to maybe get Peacemaker off the shit list as well when he goes back home. Um I don't think you're going to see, and part of me is like, just look, I love when people speculate, but there is
Hmm.
an issue sometimes when people speculate and they want what vision they have in their head to be the thing. That like
Yeah,
if they don't get GI Robot in the finale, there will be people that'll be like, well, what, they just left the
I
Nazi
don't think
world?
I don't think anybody thinks like I don't think anyone seriously believes yeah robot is showing up because there's no contextual evidence. It's just oh wouldn't it be awesome that
No,
GI robot is
I see people actually thinking Gunn is not being truthful when he says he's not appearing in this show.
look what but we've kind of talked that through. Like
Right.
I feel like what I've seen on my timeline is oh my goodness this would be perfect
Yes,
for
there's
GI
some of that.
robot, not that we're going to get GI robot.
I've seen
Maybe
both.
I've just muted enough idiots because I have been on a muting
Well,
spree.
mine wasn't on Twitter. I was on the Reddits where
Okay,
they're, theorizing and
right.
looking into everything.
And I've learned not to really look at Reddit that much. Um, you get some really bad stuff on Reddit sometimes. Sometimes it's interesting, but yeah.
But yeah, so look, we got Gunn did say in an interview somewhere that he does consider this Earth X. So that
Okay.
is where we are. Earth
Yeah,
X.
I might have to watch Crisis on Earth X again from this and kind of do a
Yeah.
compare when this is all done. Um, I have emotional problems with Crisis on Earth X because it correlated with my dog dying, but
Hmm.
it was an awesome crossover. I get a little queasy at the Nazi stuff. Sometimes I see a swastika and I'm like I know we're like doing a artistic thing with it. It does make me a little sick just to see it. But Nazis getting beaten, I'm here for.
Yeah. No, it was this show has taken things to a great level. I saw a great comparison here of
Mm-hmm.
Peacemaker in season 1 running away from the White Dragon Nazis.
Yeah.
And it looks very similar to Adebayo running away from these Nazis. So I was like,
I was
that's very
wondering if
interesting.
I was wondering if it's going to be a thing where Peacemaker somehow kills his father every season. The end of every season.
Well, what was interesting is that apparently there was a whole different theme to this season, but it still revolved around the Nazis because Jennifer Holland said originally she was going to have to shave her head and go like undercover to the White Dragon Nazis, the remnants of that from Augie in the regular world. Gunn had wrote the whole premiere of that and then scrapped it because it wasn't really working. So,
and his wife probably didn't want to shave her head.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
There's bald caps for that though.
Yeah. Those usually don't look as good though. So, if she would have shaved her head, I would give her kudos for that for sure.
I can imagine her not wanting to do that.
Yeah, it didn't sound like she was super against it though. So I don't know.
But I feel like she's just into hardcore being a badass.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to hardcore. One thing I want to say about this episode as well is I think this is how you do cameos with Lex.
Yep.
He's been referenced so many times in this show that you don't have to have seen Superman to know Lex. Also, Lex is just a huge character outside of comics anyway. People know
you're
Lex
a DC
Luthor.
fan,
even if you're not a DC fan,
right? Like it'd be like I feel like Lex Luthor registers on the things. James Gunn says there are some things we don't need to see again. The pearls in the alley, Crypto. I feel like we don't need to set up Lex Luthor,
right? And I think I think most people know who Lex is. Whatever their interpretation of Lex is, whether they've seen Lois and Clark, whether they've seen Smallville, whether they saw the Superman 78.
I feel like
Jesse
the
Eisenberg.
only two villains you don't have to do that for are Lex and Joker. Everything else,
Joker, you said?
Yeah, I feel like everything else you're gonna have to do something, but
yeah, especially for DC. I would say there's some Spider-Man villains that you'd be able to just people understand, like
Green Goblin for sure.
People understand what that is. Doc Ock.
Right. I don't think Scorpion needs a huge backstory.
Right, but it's this,
Yeah.
So it works narratively. Is my point here really for this show because he's been referenced. They referenced an event in Metropolis with Luthor. They go to prison. They see Luthor. He's bald. You immediately know that it's Lex Luthor. They mention it in case you don't know. But it's not like a Jesse Eisenberg where he's not bald and you're like, who's this guy?
And he's just sucking on a lollipop going,
is it Lex Jr.? Who is this? But, so you have, this is how it works. And I can see now what they mean by this will lead into Man of Tomorrow, but I guarantee you do not need to have watched this to understand Man of Tomorrow. I already seen some people complaining about that in the sense of, well, like this is rated TVMA. How is that going to go into a PG-13 movie? And it's like, look, they'll introduce Lex again in that and say, remember when you made that deal with Rick Flag to stop the Peacemaker? And he'd be like, yep, that's all you need.
So if you're worried about that, what you're telling me is the head of a major studio, DC Studios, and the director of the writer and director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies does not know how to put in 5 seconds of exposition into a script. You're telling on yourself if that's what you think is going to hinder the entire DC universe.
Right. No, yeah. Some people, and he had a great, I think it was on Brandon Davis's podcast, where he has a great thing about casuals understand better than we think. And they understand, like, it's us that worry about this type of stuff with canon. So, like, there were casual people that watched the first episode of the season and either realized that something changed in that previously on, or they didn't realize it. And they just said, oh, yeah, I remember some sort of thing like that. Great.
Mhm.
And they just moved on. They did not sit there
Yep.
and say, "Oh, what is this?"
Right.
They just take it.
I don't think the changing of the Green Lantern puke and the Aquaman fish fucking is that big of a deal for people.
Right.
Um,
Because your casuals are also not rewatching this a million times, so it's been 3
yeah.
years since they saw the show, that they may
No.
think that actually happened. They may not actually remember what happened.
And it doesn't take away their enjoyment of it.
Right.
James Gunn said it's like people in our bubble think people outside of the bubble are going to be lost. It's just wasted
Yes.
energy, basically. And I like what he said. I saw that clip. I should check out the whole podcast. But I saw
Yeah,
it.
same. I got to listen to the whole thing, but it sounds like he has a lot of good little snippets in there. So
What I love about James Gunn is he's so comfortable talking about his stuff. Like it's just like there's no. I feel like a lot of times with these interviews, there's a lot of guarded or like it's like James Gunn's like wherever you want to go, we'll go. I don't care.
yeah.
I created the damn thing. So yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and I guess wrap it up. Next week is episode 7. The title, Like a Keith in the Night.
Mm,
A pun there of like a thief in the night, I guess, right?
I guess, yeah. It took me a second to get the pun. I'm not gonna lie. Which is odd for me, but I guess it's gonna be Keith focused.
Yeah, maybe the end of Keith.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if he has to kill his brother
again? Yeah. Can't blame your
But you know
dad for
they
that one.
might make yeah. I mean, he might be left with no choice if Keith goes after him
Right.
for
Look,
killing
if it's gonna be
the other
between
Peacemaker.
Adebayo and Keith, he's gonna choose Adebayo.
Yeah.
It's
Just like he did in the
simple.
finale of season 1, where he just picked the 11th Street Kids over the cow and the butterflies. Also, apparently in this universe, the biggest 2 bands in the world are Halloween and the Beatles, spelled with
Led
2
by
E's.
Mick Jagger.
Led by Mick Jagger.
That was so funny.
Which Beatle was missing? I couldn't hear. He said, did he say Ringo, John?
No,
Ringo, Paul,
I
George,
think it was
Mick?
Paul, Ringo, and George. I think it was John was the one that was missing.
Okay. So no.
So Mick Jagger replaced John Lennon, if I am correct.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
because you would replace Paul or John because they're the singers. You wouldn't replace.
Well,
somebody else.
yeah, it's funny because my mom was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "We're on the other earth." It's like she's like, "Oh yeah," but it's like
you should
she
have
literally
just
stopped. It was like, "Wait, what?"
You should have just been like, "Mom, everybody knows the Beatles are led by Mick Jagger. What are you talking about?"
You can't get away with that with someone who grew up listening to the Beatles.
Yeah,
it's when certain Beatles songs remind you of high school, that one's not going to get by you.
Well, it was great to hear that the Beatles are still doing well in another universe. So I would like to hear the Mick Jagger Beatles and see what differences there are.
I think the only difference is they really get started up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's
bad joke.
Let's wrap it up. We'll go ahead and let me just share some stuff that is coming up here on the podcast. We have boom. Oh, I don't like this layout. Hold on just a second. Let me. Oh, how is the best way to do this? We're gonna go. Oh no, don't like that.
That thumbnail looks like you would looks like Adrian when he realizes the Cheerios.
Yeah. I liked that too. The cheery O's.
Yeah, it was good. Just slightly different. That was good. She's like, "Oh, my dad's not gay in this universe."
All right, let's go ahead. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so I just did a episode of the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, discussing that, quick thoughts on that, and quick thoughts on the Starfighter, the Ryan Gosling movie. They shared a couple images of that getting filmed and first releases of that. So that's also discussed in this episode. And of course, that they're filming Ahsoka Season 2. So you can check that out here on the YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast feed, it is the episode right before this one. You can do that. October 7th, we have something very special coming. So take a look at this if you're watching. Enter Flash Time. I've been working on this for a few years. But Enter Flash Time, the podcast where we revisit the CW's Flash series. And every episode Barry appears in the greater Arrowverse is releasing October 7th, our first episode in celebration of the 11th year anniversary of the show The Flash premiering on the CW. So, of course, we don't start with the Flash pilot. We start with Arrow Season 2, Episode 8 and Season 2, Episode 9. But we have those split up as two different episodes. They premiered as two different episodes. So my first guest, Lance Laster of Always Hold On to Arrow, is going to be premiering that. We're going to be talking about Episode 8, The Scientist, Barry's first appearance in the Arrowverse. Then, 2 weeks later, every 2 weeks for now, we will be talking Episode 9, Three Ghosts, with yours truly, Chris, will be on that episode.
Can't wait. It's already in the can, so it's pretty cool. But
yeah,
I love the idea of this. Enter Flash Time is going to be fun. I'll be on it every now and then, and I can't wait to listen to it because I have a new Flash rewatch podcast, so I'm going to be watching along with the podcast. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and we have and then the pilot. I'm about to watch that tonight, actually, because I'm recording that episode on Monday night. So, we're getting it going. We're getting it going finally. I came up with the idea during my first watch of The Flash, and I was like, I need to give it some time, though, right? Like, I don't want to immediately go back into watching it. So, this logo is what came to me in my mind's eye, and I wish I could still clean it up a little better. I don't know. Does it look okay?
I actually was just thinking, like, without the arrow, it might look really clean, but then you wouldn't have the enter part into it.
Yeah.
But I love the flash with the clock. Like, it's Enter Flash Time. It
does
the job.
It does great. Right? I like that part.
Yeah, no, that part's perfect because it's like a Flash logo just with the clock at it.
Yeah,
and the font's awesome. I'm totally into it.
Thank you,
dude. Maybe you could change the color red for the season of the suit. So darker red and
dark maroon,
and then you would like end up with that really bright scarlet. At the end. But I think that's a lot more work than you need to do.
Yeah, probably. Probably, but yeah. So
it was an idea.
It
was an idea, just an idea.
It doesn't take that long. I just changed the background of the image, but no, I even added the little texture on it because I it looks too plain without the texture on the red. So.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. It almost looks like the leather of the suit too.
Yeah. So that's coming October 7th. Can't wait to finally share that.
It ain't spooky season; it's Flash season.
Right, and I'll share that here on Soups and Sabers podcast feed. Probably only the first episode or two, and then you can follow us over on Enter Flash Time from there. But which is has its own podcast feed, it has its own email, social media account, so you can follow that at enter_flashtime on Twitter. I set up the Blue Sky account. It's just enter flash time.
Yeah.
Whatever Blue Sky's stuff is. And then, so make sure you're following us there if you want to hear some Flash talk, which is fun, which is a lot of fun. So, it doesn't seem like we're getting him in the DCU anytime soon. So we're going to have some fun revisiting the Arrowverse show for a bit, as Flash is one of our favorite characters here. So, but at Supes and Sabers on all of our social media for this podcast. Thank you all for watching or listening along with us as we talk to Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 6. We've got Episode 7 coming next week. We're only 2 episodes away from the finale already. So we'll catch you next time.